Nous sommes le 6 mars 2023 et je suis à Trout Lake Park à Vancouver. Il y a environ 2 ans, j'ai effectué une longue marche sonore, une promenade sonore, avec Anjali Appadurai, une militante pour le climat et aussi politicienne. Et cette conversation est devenue l'épisode 23 de la 2e saison de ce balado. Et c'était la première fois que Anjali faisait une promenade sonore. Et nous avons eu une longue discussion sur plusieurs sujets, dont la problématique du privilège. Comment reconnaître les privilèges, nos privilèges, et quoi faire en relation avec nos privilèges. Donc on s'est promené dans ce parc, on a parlé longtemps, comme j'ai dit, et je veux vous jouer un extrait vers la fin de cette conversation où Anjali parle du privilège. Que voici.
And you know, I think this really meshes with what I was talking about. I sort of, to circle back to the beginning of the conversation, we were talking about who's the we, and privilege is the central question to that. Looking at the issue as this multi-layered thing, and looking at it as a spectrum of history, where what have the power dynamics been in, say, you can take a slice of history, you can say the last 500 years. What were the advantages? You know, privilege can go back as far as you want it to go back, right? And of course it's so nuanced, you know, it's not every white guy has this much privilege, but you do have a privilege that goes back hundreds of years. And I think one aspect of privilege a lot of people leave out is this economic aspect, right, of class and resources. And that to me is, you know, it's not often talked about in the climate conversation, but it's a huge piece of it, because when we talk about the extinction of our species, this extinction doesn't happen overnight. It happens in a spectrum. Who are the last ones standing? It's those with the most resources. Who are the first ones to go? It's those with the least, the most disenfranchised. So I don't think you can talk about climate without talking about privilege, ultimately. And I think it's on each of us to unpack that for ourselves, and to bring that into the conversation.
De retour en 2023, je fais le tour du lac en écoutant comme on l'a fait en 2021 avec Anjali. J'aimerais conclure avec un autre extrait de notre conversation sur le privilège. Que voici.
And I'll just leave with one more thought. There's a lot of framings about how to divide up in an equitable way the remaining emissions, the sort of carbon budget of the world. So carbon budget is a framing in and of itself, and then there's this other framing that floats around the right to atmospheric space, and how if you look at atmospheric space as a human right, and if you divide up how much we have left in the world, how many people have way more than what would be their fair share? How many people have way less? And that's a deep question of privilege as well. And talking about the global north, I mean, that really plays into our global privilege.
Et ma question pour vous est: quels sont les privilèges dans votre vie?